Hi, everybody. This is Galit Ventura Rosen with another week of Women Empowering Women. One of my favorite things to do in the world is to spotlight amazing women entrepreneurs from all over the world. I'm excited to be here today with Devon Poer, and we're going to be talking about personal branding versus, oh gosh, branding. I guess it's just branding versus personal branding, isn't it? Devon is a celebrity and fashion stylist turned personal branding expert for purpose-driven entrepreneurs and influential professionals. I love words. They just, when you pick the right words to describe yourself, the energy is amazing around it, isn't it?
Absolutely.
Well, go ahead. Devon, tell us a little bit about your journey so we can jump into the topic of what we're going to share today.
Yeah, over 10 years ago, I became a fashion stylist. I studied in London, England, and then I got a degree in fashion. So I moved to Hollywood and worked with celebrities in magazine covers, and also at the same time, lots of fashion designers. So I produced lots of runway shows, done London Fashion Week, Los Angeles Fashion Week, Seattle Fashion Week, lots of fun times. And I just kind of started doing consulting as well as styling and then producing, which I loved. You know, I wasn't just styling a shoot, I would produce it. And when you're producing it, you've got to know everything about the brand. That's super important because, you know, it's all about a brand message, cohesive story, especially when you're working with fashion designers and they're presenting a line.
Sure.
The word you will hear that everybody says way too much is, well, was it cohesive? You know, and it's always kind of attached to a story. So it's a different type of storytelling with clothing, which is really, really fun. So, but 2.5 years ago, I kind of, life kind of fell apart. Life fell apart 3 years ago, but it took me 2.5 years. It took me about a year and a half to kind of get things back together. I suffered a tragic loss, and the grieving process took me a little bit long, and Hollywood just wasn't doing it for me anymore. And I became a mother. And becoming a mother and then going through a tragedy of losing my son's father, it really kind of was like what am I doing with my life? How am I serving a purpose? And what I did is I got well, I got involved in a spiritual program, I got sober, and got a corporate job. And, you know, I left my corporate job recently to build my business, but I'm so grateful for the experience that I got to have because it really showed me how passionate I was because I was a communication specialist. So I was building a corporate brand and communicating it. And I've always worked on the publicity level as well side of things. That's just what happens when you're working in the celebrity and fashion world. And so I really enjoyed it. And I really enjoyed it connecting with the community and connecting with the people. And for me, I'm like, I really want to work with people. I love working with people and I love helping people develop as much as I love growing and developing myself. So I went down a path, and during some of that journey, I met you.
Yes.
And, I think you kind of saw me during the beginning and some of my growing pains. It's like, okay, how can I utilize all this knowledge that I have and support, entrepreneurs? And for me, it was like, it became clear about purpose and passion. And then it was just like personal branding expert. I'm like, that's it.
Isn't it funny? And I know we're talking a little bit about this and not so much, but I have to bring it up. A lot of women and men that kind of almost fall into what they're supposed to do. And people laugh when I say that, but you use the word purpose and passion, and it tends to seem to be a very, very word that a lot of us use that really almost find this way to what we're supposed to do.
Mm-hmm.
And so the journey seems to be similar for a lot of people. There's something traumatic that happens, and not always as traumatic as what you went through, but there's something, either health, either financial, either relationship, either unfortunately death. And then there's this almost as if you get these different eyes, right, Devon? Like you look at the world and you see something you didn't see yesterday.
Right.
And I love that. And I hope that people can do it without something traumatic or a big change, but it tends to seem to be the catalyst.
Mm-hmm.
So when I hear your story and I know the things that you've gone through, and a lot of people don't have to go through that ever in their life, and how much you've grown, and you had a pretty neat career. I mean, I can't imagine it was easy being, I can only imagine, because I've seen enough of those reality shows, behind the scenes with the fashion weeks and producing them, and then the clothing and the branding. Wow. Wow. So you have some great experience in the branding field that you bring over to your clients.
Right. Yeah, absolutely. Well, and then dealing with celebrities, because there's the times where it was a lot of fun, but it also had its challenges, because there's a certain level of politics as well.
Oh, I'm sure.
Involved in that. And you have multiple people in all ingrained in the process too. So, and you're working with a creative team, and then you're also working with a human being. Now, a lot of people always ask me, what was this person or that person like? And the truth of it is, they're a human being just like anybody else.
Of course.
They have and everybody has their own body issues or their own things that they don't like about them, or their sense of taste, or what they like, or what angle they're not into. I mean, I had a celebrity that I worked with for a while that I loved, and during our photo shoot, she would meow and sing. So
if it works, it works.
It's
at least she was comfortable enough to do that, right?
Well, and that's the thing I think that I learned about a lot of celebrities too, is also being really just authentic to yourself and not giving a shit what anybody thinks.
Oh my gosh, I always giggle that as I get wiser, because I don't get older, I get wiser. As I get wiser, I'm so thankful that that piece falls into place. And when I talk to younger women than me, I always say, if you can embrace not caring what other people think today, you're going to save yourself so much hardship. So much. So let's jump in. I'm excited because branding for me, having my own businesses my whole life, literally since I was 21, is everything. Because when somebody understands your brand, that's what turns into clients, which turns into profit. And I always joke around, Devon, at my office, I have a home office and I have a regular business office. And at my business office, someone will walk by, because I always have an open door policy, and say, "Are you busy?" And I say, "Well, if I wasn't busy, I'd be at the beach right now." So I always say that because, of course, I have the open door policy. But the reason I say that, the reason I bring that up, is because for me, branding is what keeps us busy. If people don't know who you are, they don't know what you do, they don't know what you offer, they don't really understand who you are, they can't in turn attract you and contact you and work with you.
Right. Well, and that's why you hear a lot of clarity. People use the term clarity. Do you have clarity? I see that a lot in kind of the Facebook groups, or anybody who's in the coaching industry. There's a difference between professionals and coaching. I'm going to focus a little bit on both right now, but for the most part, coaches, the biggest thing that they say is clarity. And that's, what do you do? That's clarity, right? And to get clarity, you got to understand yourself.
Yes, which isn't easy.
No.
It sounds easy, but it usually isn't.
No, absolutely not. Because what ends up happening, and this as a mindset coach, is your subconscious comes in and starts sabotaging you. Like, that's not safe. This fear pops up, that fear pops up. Like, well, what's my mother-in-law going to think? What's my ex-boyfriend's going to stalk me? Like, all these things start coming up when that's about just even being visible. With the personal brand. But first and foremost, when it comes to, because we're talking, like, to touch on the difference between branding and personal branding, well, you're not just building a brand, you're building a person. Because there's an inward journey that's got to take place for you to have an understanding of you, to be clear as to what you want to do. Because if you're not clear on that, your message isn't clear too. And people see that, and then you're not necessarily attracting the people you want, because that's essentially the message that you're putting out. The message is all over the place. So, people are going to be like, I don't really know what she does. So,
yes. And I know from experience, because 90% of my business is referred. So, either referred, and then 10% is attracted. So the reason being is the people that are watching, the people that know my branding are telling other people, and then they are contacting me, because it's so interesting to me, Devon, with branding. It is easier for somebody that wants to work with me to contact me when somebody else tells them they should, in place of they could be watching and watching and watching and feel uncomfortable reaching out directly.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that would be the branding, right?
Well, when it comes to, it's, your branding is essentially your identity as well. But I mean, as far as somebody feels comfortable reaching out, there's psychology behind all that.
Yes,
right?
yes. I meant the branding that others are telling people. So people that aren't even working with me are telling other people they should be contacting me to work with me in a conversation that has nothing to do with me.
Right.
So that would be the branding.
Yes, because essentially what style is the visual impression that you leave somebody.
Thank you. Perfect definition.
So somebody, when, like, I'm talking to a friend who's also in the coaching business and they're having certain, fears or mindset, or they want to get up on stages, immediately what visually pops in your head, well, I immediately see your brand colors of the blue and the yellow and the gold, and then your personality. The emotions that also come with that, I immediately visualize that. So you're right. You're completely totally right. That's your branding, because visually that's how people think of you when somebody is associating with something. Oh, you got to talk to Galit. She's an amazing motivational speaker.
So that's what we're talking about today.
Yes.
What we're talking today is branding, personal branding versus branding.
Right.
So what kind of tips can we give those that are watching today so they can recognize not just the differentiation, but also almost take a look at themselves and step back, like you said. Mm-hmm. People don't recognize that when you're building a business around your personal brand, and that's what we're talking about today, it really is about your personality. So for example, Devon, my blue and yellow has to do with the sky and the sun. Mm-hmm. That has to do with my personality. Mm-hmm. I live in the desert. I could not live in a city where it was raining all the time and cloudy. My personality won't allow it. Isn't that interesting? Right. But my personal branding may not work for the next lady that is maybe a little more logical or a little more serious. So what can we do to look within ourselves and really understand, does our branding work for us?
Right. Well, so the difference between, say, a corporate brand and a personal brand is what's happening in the market is super important, but they're all about profit-driven, cultural profit-driven things. And a personal brand is, first, it's very much an inward journey. And then it's a growth process, and you develop as your brand develops. So it's not necessarily like what's going to make us the most money, because if that's not authentic to you, if somebody's saying, this type of coaching is going to make the most money or is the top one, if that's not who you are as a person, then it won't necessarily resonate. And
but won't others see that too, Devon?
And others pick up on it as well. I put it today, is your inauthenticity showing? So and that's totally okay. You know what I mean? Yeah. It's why it's all about the journey. So it's like, tip wise, I would say to somebody who's either in the coaching business or not necessarily, like, they're kind of clear on what they want to do, I would say first meet with somebody like you to go through the mindset journey as well. But then before you even go and do all the business training, and before you even hire the graphic designer, is you want to talk to a personal branding expert.
Oh, yes.
The point is to get...
You want to have a picture before you start. Isn't that the truth? You can get crazy. And I have to tell you, when I first started putting together my website, I spoke to somebody that had worked with some huge companies. And the first thing out of her mouth was, yellow and blue won't work. I'm like, excuse me? She said, have you looked at other sites of people that do what you do? Because I do the business coaching and the speaking coaching. And she said, you need to go with purple and black. And that was like, thank you so much for your time.
Uh-huh.
I wish you the best of luck. And she was very expensive, Devon. She did a lot of this website and all of this branding. And I was, oh my gosh, wait, if you don't know who I am, that means you're going to start and finish with completely trying to change who I am. So you're saying it's okay to be you. You don't have to go with the masses.
Right. Right. But you also got to be you also got to be committed to growth.
Absolutely.
You also got to be in that commitment to understand, to get to your big vision and to get you, like I say, sometimes I'm like, it has to scare you. Right.
Always.
And the growing process is the most beautiful process at the same time. And it's a journey. So your branding process is a journey, but you start at the most authentic place that you currently are at. And when it comes to colors, it's what resonates with you, but also what's the emotional impact you want to have on other people. Yellow is a happy color. Blue is a calming color.
And I knew that. That's not why I chose the colors, but and I always knew it was going to be blue and yellow. But once I did, you just do the research or you speak to a branding expert that says, okay, Galit, these are great colors. Why? Why are these resonating with you? Where do they come into your personality? I could totally see you doing that with me if I called you right before I got started and you just really piece it together. Devon, you know what I can almost see with you? I can almost see, you know how interior designers make the little board? Right? With all the colors and the swatches. And I can almost see you building that around somebody's personality, around what they are trying to portray and what kind of people they want to attract.
Right.
Right.
And that's what I call a brand mood and a brand mood board. I used to make mood boards for all the shoots.
I love it. Well, I'm so visual that I like to see everything. Absolutely. So even if it was digital, I would want to see what it looked like. So before you tell everyone how they can get a hold of you, so you can most definitely share with them how they can build a brand. And I really want to make this clear. You're building a brand to attract clients. Many of us that watch this show live from purpose and passion, but we also make an income and make a good income. And that's because we do what we love and we still need to support our families, and money is what it is. So you're not just going out there and saying, okay, this is who you are. You're also looking at what can work, I'm assuming, for the industry and so on.
Right. So I call it your unique marketing position. Other people call it your unique value proposition, your unique selling proposition, because the cultural and psychology is also a very big part of it too. Most coaches, like, they have so many different tools in their tool bag, but simplifying the message, and it comes down to what's your promise and what you solve and how you help people, because you've already gone through the transformation and you know all that bit. It's the person that hasn't gone through the transformation who therefore needs it, and what frame of mind that they're currently in. But also going along with cultural norms. Like 20 years ago, if you were to tell somebody, slay it, girl, or I'm killing it, or that's on fleek, somebody would be like, what the hell are you talking about? So,
slay is a really big word now in our industry with women.
Right. Boss babe, lady boss, you know what I mean? That's kicking and high. So, and like I said, like 20 years ago, if you would have said somebody you're a boss babe, they would have been like, is that an insult?
Oh my gosh. I can't even imagine, right?
Right. So that's a lot to do with what's culturally trending and things like that. But also a personal branding expert helps you get to a unique position that's kind of cutting edge, but still on point with what the shift is. If you come up with something completely obscure that maybe in 5 years somebody's going to resonate with that, well, nobody's going to resonate it with today.
Well, don't you also see that branding changes with you?
Absolutely.
So you're going to go set somebody up. Let's just say it's a new business for conversation's sake. I'm sure you also do restructuring current businesses as well, because a lot of people need it. But when you're working with somebody and their brand has been up for a while and, Devon, I'm not really feeling this anymore. I'm feeling a change.
Yep.
I'm sure that you go in and, again, work with them so you can kind of understand what it is that's changed. What direction are they trying to go? What is it that needs to be changed?
Absolutely. Well, you're not the same person you were yesterday. You weren't the same person you were 5 years ago.
Right.
Well, and then the more you work with clientele too, those who have been working with clientele for a couple of years as well, those experience also shift and grow you as well. And it's you who takes the action to take it a little step further. So then there you're kind of looking at your brand and it might not resonate with the authentic person that you are anymore. Or maybe you're really just ready for that next level of visibility.
Oh, next level, huge.
Yeah, everybody calls up leveling, so it's
Next
kind of like,
level, up leveling. Yeah.
right. And
Branding's got to change with that.
absolutely. And that's just kind of, it's a certain level of professionalism. It's legit. You know what I mean? If I were to pitch anybody PR wise, it's like, well, everybody wants to know, well, how legit are you? Oh, and your
I
brand,
like that word.
yeah, your brand represents your legitness.
Yes.
So
Another word that's more current than past as well, right? I could see that. So tell everybody how they can get a hold of you so they can talk to you about their branding if they think they need to restructure their current company or they're starting a new company.
absolutely. I have a website. And it's Devon Poer, and that's Devon. I spell my name Devon, but pronounce it Devon. But if anybody calls me Devon, I'll still answer. And then my last name, Poer.com. So devonpoer.com. And I offer free clarity sessions, free 30-minute clarity sessions, and they can do that through my website, booking on my website. And I help you kind of get clear on where you are with your personal growth and your brand and your big vision. So, and then Facebook, I'm very active on Facebook. You can find me on Facebook. Just enter in my name, Devon Poer, and follow my fan page and my profile. And I love connecting with people. So please feel free to friend me and you'll most likely get a message from me saying hi.
Yes, right. Thank you so much. And I appreciate you. I think this is such an important topic. It's almost the base of everything for business. And I don't care what kind of business you have. I just feel like it is so important to really understand the branding and what you're trying to put out there and how others are going to see you. And a lot of times we don't have long to catch their attention. Today, we don't have the patience we used to. So
Right.
you want it to be really dead on so you can catch them, so you don't miss the opportunity to potentially benefit them in their business or whatever it is you might do. So thank you so much for watching. And this is Galit Ventura Rosen. I'm a women empowerment and business mentor, and I also work with women to get them on the stage to speak. And this is another week of Women Empowering Women.
Thank you.